right, so that's a whole lot of conversation. You know, the funding available for 2025, moving 70% of the spending of 2025 to 2026, and also still working with multiple budgets. There, it seems that's what we'll still have to do in 2026. But that's a conversation for another day. For now, let's look at the inflation numbers, which came out late yesterday. And, well, we have to say Financial Derivatives Company hit the nail on the head this time around, because just as they predicted, we saw inflation down to 14.45% from 16.05%. Perfectly matches what they said, and marks the 8th consecutive months decline in the country amid ample food supply, stable naira exchange rate, and base year effect, which will soon be doing without. This base year effect will soon be doing away with that. So we'll see our true number of true inflation number. Key highlights shows food inflation slowed 11.08% from 13.12%. Core inflation also dropped 18.69% from 18.04%. At the same time, the NBS says that urban inflation dipped from 15.65% to 13.61%, while rural inflation moderated lower, 15.15%. So let's talk to Financial Derivatives here in the studio. We have their Assistant Vice President, Economic Research at Financial Derivatives, Dr. Ifeoma Nwokolo. Dr. Nwokolo, well, do I say congratulations this time? You guys really got it. Or you sent a fly to the office of the NBS to get the number for you. That's why it was just spot on. Your forecast and the number that came out.
Yeah, I would say our crystal ball was well positioned this time. So,
okay, but what does this mean? We're heading into the festive season. This is for November. It's very important to note that. So we saw a lot of harvests, and that explains the food items, especially the drop in food, and a lot of people have testified to that. Also, of course, we have to discuss the base year effect.
Exactly.
The base year, because the base year effect is the major one. After we have gotten out of that period where there was rebasing, I know that things will not be this easy for us, you know, but I mean, for now, maybe we should just celebrate what we have. But people always ask, how realistic are these numbers?
Well, looking at inflation's token factors, because we have some factors that actually drive inflation. Comparing, when you're talking about headline inflation, is historical. You are comparing what happened in November last year to what happened in November this year. So looking at inflation's token factors, I start with money supply growth, was 51% November last year. And this time around, in September, it got to 7%, one digit, before it moved to 10%. In October. So that shows you that there's a huge difference between last year money supply growth and kudos to the CBN. Then if we look at exchange rate, which is another major factor that drives inflation. Exchange rate last year was around 1700 per dollar. But this year it hovered around 1430 and 1440. PMS is another factor. Last year, PMS price was 1,065 naira per liter. Before Dangote, the white knight, came into play. And this year, November, it was 910. And you can see what happened now. He has moved it down to about 793 naira per liter. So all these factors put together, prices of commodities as well. Last year, November, a bag of rice was trading for 120,000 naira. And today, a bag of rice is 60,000. That's half the price. 70,000. This was it yesterday when we did our pricing? It was like 68,000 naira. But it now depends on the grain you are buying.
Rice is 60.
Yeah, it depends on the grain you are buying. You have medium grain, you have long grain, you have small grain. So the more the grain, I say, let me say the long grain is selling for 70, which is now down to 68. The short grain, medium grain is 50 something, 58. I bought last week was 58. Then the shorter one you have for 53 and the likes compared to last year. So you can see that the base year effect, last year prices were very, very high. But this year we are seeing that prices begin to taper. That's why we are seeing these numbers. That
dropping.
Sharp margin.
We expect that this base year effect will soon become insignificant. At what point do we stop looking at the base year effect? Because I believe that's when it was rebased.
Yeah, in December. Ordinarily in December was supposed to see the base year effect wane. But even if we see an increase in inflation, I would say it will be very, very minute. Or we may not even see inflation reverse itself upward in December. And why did I say that? I say that because of the new development that we have in PMS price. PMS price declining from 8 something to 793, almost a 150 naira decline in the price of PMS. And Dangote has said he's going to do this for the festive period between December and January. So we may not likely see inflation increase or reverse itself upwards. Even if we are going to see a slight difference, it will decline, but the margin of decline will not be as huge as what we are seeing now, 1.6, 2% last 2 months and all the rest. But that is going to offset, I think it's going to offset that base year wane that we are supposed to see in December.
So, but from what you're seeing now, we know that normally there's increase of demand in December.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason, just economic cycle, it pushes up price and all of that. Are you saying that even with that increase in demand, which we expect, and which we expect more this year because with inflation dropping, we believe that there should be more disposable income.
Exactly.
So that should increase demand. Are you saying that will not have effects as expected, increasing the activities in the economy, which may increase inflation?
Okay, if you look at inflation trend over the years, from September, October, November, December, inflation reverses itself upward because of higher demand, because of higher prices. But this year is looking different. If in October we are seeing a decline in inflation, November we are seeing a sharp decline of 1.6 in inflation. This December,
but what happened month on month this time around?
Month on month, I'm coming there. Month on month, ordinarily, I said it earlier that ordinarily the base year effect is supposed to wane in December. And we are beginning to see that trend in month on month inflation. Month on month inflation and food month on month inflation has also increased. 2 months ago, last month and 2 months ago, we saw deflation in food inflation. But this time around, it has reversed itself upward. And month-on-month inflation has continued an upward trend for the past 3 months. So that is telling us that we may be approaching a point of inflection. But with this new development, even if we see inflation increase, it's going to be very marginal.
That's talking about the Dangote.
But
yes, we know how long it takes for the effect from a drop in price to really reflect in transportation first, and then to food items. We know it takes a while in Nigeria, except it's going upwards, then it should have just become more effective.
Prices are usually sticky downwards. And we know that there's usually a lag between when this announcement is made and when the pump price starts selling. But this was announced last week. Dangote made this announcement last week that gantry price is going to reduce to $6.99. So I think most filling stations were ready for it. as at this morning when I was coming, I saw some filling stations already selling for $7.39. So it's taking effect immediately. And I think this is going to filter into prices of commodity. Let's not forget that it's not just PMS price. The price of diesel also came down to 990 naira per liter from 1,020 naira per liter. So we have a difference of almost 40 or 50 naira there. And you know that most producers, most companies use diesel. So if you are seeing a huge decline in diesel price by almost 50 naira, what does that imply? It means that your production cost is going to do what? A decline.
If producers will allow the price to seep into the price.
So it has to do with the producers this time and the retailers. And let's not forget that retailers are even finding it difficult to push up prices because we are having increasing consumer resistance. People are not buying as much as they do. And even the traders are complaining, so they find it difficult to even increase prices.
So what can we expect on commodity prices? It's just a week or so to Christmas.
To Christmas, yeah. The price of rice came down from 70 to 68 naira.
For the long grain.
For the long grain. Yes, studies have shown that, analysts have shown that prices of commodities will continue to come down.
Okay.
This festive season, and we're expecting to see.
A boom, dirty December this year. Thank you so much, Dr. Ifeoma Nwokolo, the Assistant Vice President, Economic Research at Financial Derivatives Company. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's take a break now. When we come back, Integrated Services, SKLD Integrated Services, they're celebrating 25 years, and they are very particular about building for the future, building the business for the future. We'll talk about that after the break. Please stay with us.